I feel like we're pilots, like, in a plane or something, and we're doing like a pre-flight check.
Engine 1, engine 2, tap, tap, tap.
Star, you go.
I'm go.
Go for lunch.
3 developers, 1 mission. Build a business to nurture personal fulfillment. It's not stupid. It's FounderQuest.
I'm the type of tiling window manager user that never changes any of their layouts. Basically, like I'm the type of tiling window manager user that has all applications open full screen except for like my terminals, which I have like a vertical split. And so I've got 2 of those open on a single screen. So I actually don't know any shortcuts to any of the window managers I've ever used. I have to look them up every single time.
Yeah, that's the great thing about Amethyst. It is the one that's based on has nothing to do with Haskell, but it's based on Xmonad. But the key bindings are all like, there's not really much way to change them. Like it's all pretty simple. It's a lot simpler to use the key bindings than it is to use Haskell.
I use a magnet for my window manager.
Yeah, that's what I've been using too.
Yeah, I really like that. The key combos are easy to remember to put stuff in the various places.
Yeah.
Like I'm always like corner or half or top or bottom. So it's super easy.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. It's a different approach. Amethyst I've used it before, and it is really nice because it automatically tiles. It's not, magnet is kind of, you just set up basically your halves or whatever.
I think that's been around for a while, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So I used to use that, I think.
There's a bunch of them like that.
We're talking about Mac tools today because
I guess we are. I could go forever on that. But
so I've got a feature request. I've got a feature request for the makers of Amethyst, who I know are dedicated listeners to FounderQuest. Is that like, for the love of all things good in the world, like, can we please have a drop-down menu that lets you like select the different like window actions? Like, why do I have to use hotkeys? Like, because maybe I want to do something that I do like once every 6 months, and I don't want to have to look up the hotkey for it and then like try and make my fingers go into that weird.
That's because
position.
It wouldn't be a pure tiling window manager then.
I know. It's like, come on, just give me a drop down. It's like it's not like, pure anyway. Let's be honest. There's little like bars at the top of the windows. Like I can minimize things. I can drag things around. It's just it's not pure anyway.
Look, Star,
it's already debased.
It's not written in Haskell, but you got to draw the line somewhere, and the line is drop down menus. Okay,
it's like a menu. It's like a GUI. Okay.
No, you're totally making me want. I'm gonna have to go try Amethyst again. You're making me want to go check it out. You might look. I think there was like a configuration. I think it has like a JSON configuration file or something that you can edit, which is exactly what you were looking for if you were looking for a drop down menu.
Do either of you use PopClip?
No. What's that?
So PopClip is a little extension thing. I don't know how you describe it. What do they call it? I don't even know what they call it. I'm looking at their website and they don't really say. But basically, anytime you select text, then this little pop-up pops up right above your cursor. And it's extendable. You can choose what kind of things appear in the little menu that pops up. But by default, it does things like copy and paste, but also like there's a little search icon. So if there's some text you want to search on, instead of having to, right click, that's much too much work to do. So you can just hit that little search icon, or there's a dictionary one, so you can define something. But I use it a lot, because it has an Alfred connection as well. So I have a bunch of Alfred shortcuts for things like jumping to one of our user records in our admin tool. And so if I highlight, let's say, a user ID, then I can, it'll give the pop-up. I can then choose Alfred, and I can type in my shortcut, and boom, because it puts whatever's highlighted into that little Alfred box for you. So,
that's really cool.
Super handy.
What's really amusing to me is that, like, because I've been working with you all for so long, it's like we sort of like swap. Okay, we just kind of like swap places in weird ways. Because I remember like a long time ago, I'd be like, okay, I'm using Alfred. Like, what are you using, Ben? And it's like, I'm just using Spotlight. And now it's like reverse. It's like, I just use Spotlight. And it's like, Ben's using Alfred now. So
yeah, I love Alfred. Although I actually also use Spotlight. So the thing the reason why is Alfred, I've never really gotten it to work the way I want it to work for looking up files and folders. So if there's a file or a folder that I want, I use Spotlight. But if anything else, basically I use Alfred.
Yeah, file search and Spotlight
That
seems
makes a lot of sense.
pretty advanced. It's got all the indexing and stuff built into it.
Yeah.
That seems like it'd be really hard to get right.
But one thing I love about Alfred is the Safari shortcut support and 1Password support. So if there's a site I know I want to go to, boom, Alfred. Like it's like three characters away. And if I have a login, if it's a login thing, I can just type in my 1Password name for it, and boom, it goes there and fills it.
I haven't decided if I want to enable that or not yet, because you have to go like enable like third-party access or whatever to your 1Password database, and I don't know.
That's true.
Like I've gotten kind of in the habit of using the whatever they call 1Password Mini or whatever in the toolbar. So I just because they have like a system-wide hotkey for it. It's like Shift Command / or something. That'll pop it up. I know that. So I do that instead. Yeah, I don't know. Just something about like enabling third-party application access to my passwords, even though I think it's not the passwords themselves. It's like just the index, like the metadata.
Just the name. Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, one of my favorite tips, I forgot, someone posted this on Twitter a long time ago, and I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was one of you. You can, if you option click the notification center icon in the toolbar, it will toggle do not disturb. That is a great one. Yeah.
Oh wait, really?
So you can
really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try it now.
I use it all the time. It's option,
and that's different from
alt.
That's alt, right? Okay.
Option click. Isn't that cool?
Oh wow, that's nice. I'm doing it right now.
There's another one because especially on I have like an ultra wide monitor, which I realized I'm not sure. I might be going back towards like the regular size monitor side of the argument, because like half the time I just want to center the window and the screen anyway. So I can center that with magnet. But if I want to resize the window then from there and do it equally, like expand it out equal sides. And of course, I'm not using a fancy tiling window manager that does it for me at the moment. Hold down option and then drag a corner of the window, and it will resize the entire window from the center of the window. That reminded me last week when I was dealing with in the middle of my computer troubleshooting woes, that morning, when I was like the morning of the second day, when I was already like, frazzled and like upset and stuff. And I get to my desk and I like bumped, I don't know how I did it, but I bumped my, I have like that, the large trackpad, is it the Pro? I forget what they call them. It's like the Pro Apple trackpad or whatever. The Magic trackpad that I keep in front of my ErgoDox keyboard. Bumped it and it fell face down on my tile floor and shattered the screen. That was just the icing on the cake.
They can shatter?
Like I don't want to have another entire episode of bitching about my Mac problems, but like that just, it sucked.
What part of it?
So
shattered?
the
I'm
top
curious.
of it is kind of, I don't know what it's made out of. It's almost like a glass type material. And so this happens, it's happened with an Apple Watch before in the past too. Like if you drop something, like usually it does pretty well if you drop it like on a corner or something. But if you drop it face down on a tile floor, like it's curtains.
That's a goner.
No, so you have to replace all floors.
So I'm now carpeting my office.
The real solution.
Yeah,
it is a suggested solution by Apple,
right? The Apple,
like hard flooring is for Microsoft.
Apple shag, carpet.
I have been spending more time at home thanks to COVID.
I was going to say why,
and yeah, and as a result, I've actually started using a keyboard shortcut that I've never really used much in the past. Don't do it now. You don't want to do this now, but if you do hold down Option Command and hit the eject key, that will sweep your computer.
Oh,
and,
really?
I when I'm at my office, I don't have any reason to sleep my computer. I'm just, but when I'm at home, I do. So, I've been using that a lot.
I will try that when I get my eject key back.
Can I tell y'all something ridiculous? I mean, it seems ridiculous to me. This may be the best solution available to me, but it seems really silly. As y'all know, I got an iMac, I don't know, 6 months ago or something, and it comes with like, keyboard and trackpad and everything. And I like my Kinesis Advantage that I use. So I don't want to, I don't know. I didn't want to switch to the just terrible, like tiny little like keyboard that they ship with it. So I use my Advantage, but the problem with that is that I don't have any of the little sort of function keys. I mean, I've got like the F1, F2, F3, but they don't have the little like icons as to what they do. Like make the screen brighter, make the volume louder or whatever. And I don't have that. And I've got it set up so that they're actual like F1, F2 keys because I do real stuff with my computer. And I don't have that function key anymore. And so like, how do I make my screen brighter or turn it up and down? The answer is you keep the original keyboard as a second keyboard.
Nice.
Like underneath the monitor, and you just kind of whip it out whenever you need to use
that's a life hack right there.
Nice.
It is. It feels so silly that I have to do this. And I literally I assume there's some way to adjust my screen brightness without using the OEM keyboard.
It's a good point. I never adjust my screen brightness like that if I'm because I use an external monitor. Is that a thing with externals? I know like the iMac has it. Is it? Oh.
Yeah, you can do that. Oh, I have that. I have the LG, the ultrafine, and you can use the Apple keyboard to.
I should set up some.
Oh, nice.
I should configure my keyboard to have shortcuts for that. I do have I have my keyboard. I have the ErgoDox, which is a split one, a little bit like the Kinesis, but they're detached. But I have like some custom key bindings for volume and stuff that are handy.
Okay, so you've reminded me. Speaking of key bindings for volume, so and my remembering the ultrafine. So there's one snag to the ultrafine, and that is its audio. So it has audio, and it has speakers, and they're great. But the problem is that basically normal volume that you would enjoy typically as your computer, making sounds, is the first notch on the volume scale on the Mac.
Wow.
First notch. And there's 10 notches or whatever. Let me see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know, 15. I don't know. Okay. So if you hit the volume up key once, you get notch number 2, and it freaking blows you away.
Nice.
And you might think, but there's nothing between 1 and 2, so I'm just hosed. No, that's actually not correct. So there's another key combo you can use. It is Shift Option Volume Up, which increases the volume by 1, 2, 3, 4, by a quarter.
Wait,
yes.
There's a fine volume adjustment?
Yes.
On Macs?
Yep.
Wow.
So Shift Option up and down changes it by a quarter rather than a full step, which is absolutely critical if you have an ultrafine display, because you cannot go to 2 without killing yourself. You have to go to 1 1/4 if you want.
That's like the most. That's the most Linux issue, like old school Unix or Linux style issue on Mac that I've heard recently.
But I mean, unless the ultrafine's a monitor to get if you want to have some house parties.
You got your Marshall, or if you want to
tunes,
plug your guitar into it and rock the neighborhood. You've got a Marshall stack built into it.
Disclaimer: I have never taken the volume on the ultrafine beyond 3, because I've been too afraid to do so. I don't know if it does keep going.
I have one question. Yeah, does it go to 11?
I mean, apparently it doesn't need to. It has to destroy itself before it gets to 10.
So do either of you use Bartender?
Bartender's cool.
I used to, but I haven't recently. I switched about a year ago, or 6 months ago, whenever I got the iMac is when I switched back to using Mac. So I lost a lot of my institutional memory of Mac apps.
Plus your Mac screen's probably big enough. You don't care about all the stuff in the menu bar.
It's really big. Yeah.
You got plenty of room. But when I switched to a 13-inch back in the day, I realized just how much room all those icons can take up. And so Bartender is fantastic. If anyone doesn't know what that is, it hides menu bar icons, and you can define which ones get hidden and how. You can toggle between the ones that are hidden and shown. And it's pretty handy if you find your menu bar filling with icons. You can use Bartender to help manage that chaos. And I hide Docker, hide Dropbox, I had Alfred.
Yeah, you can also configure it to
Speaking of
if it's like an icon that changes, like that updates its status occasionally, you can have it like appear when it's changed and then it will disappear again.
Hide again. Yeah.
Nice. Like this is reminding me of like when I was on Linux. I had a sort of ultra high definition monitor hooked up to it, and it, for the most part, worked okay at a sort of a scaled resolution. But one of the little icons in my top sort of toolbar at the top of my screen didn't scale. And so it was like I had normal icons in this one half size icon. And then the rest of the box where it should have like scaled up to fill the box was just like white as opposed to like the black of the toolbar. And that's why I quit using the Linux on the desktop.
That's the reason.
That is the reason why you quit using Linux.
Yeah, I mean it's one of them. But like, look at like if you want to drive somebody slowly crazy, just have them look at that every single day for years on end. It'll drive them mad.
Okay, well, you just brought back memories of when I used Linux on the desktop, which was a long time ago. But when I first started using Linux on the desktop, I was blown away. Well, this is kind of a double-sided coin. Okay, I was blown away by X Windows, right? The whole idea that you could run something on a server somewhere and you're getting the DUI on your machine, I thought that was just amazing. The double-sided coin is like it was horrendously hard to set up, like to actually get my monitor to work and get X server to work properly.
Yeah. Do you still remember your VSync?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was probably easier to hack than it was to set up. I would imagine. Yeah.
Totally. But the thing that really brought this back to my memory when you said that was like this week, GitHub announced Codespaces, and it's like their Cloud9 thing where you can have your Visual Studio Code running on someone else's server. And it just displays the UI on your machine. I'm like, we've come full circle.
And they also they have remote built in, like a lot of remote tooling built into VS Code as well, which I suspect, and I haven't read all of the things that they released, but I suspect that eventually you'll be able to also like connect that, locally, which is kind of similar. You'll be happy to know that Remote X is disabled or deprecated by default in modern X now. But I think that you can, there's like still an Arch Linux guide that you can use to like enable it or something if you really want to. But yeah, X it's still the primary display thing on Linux at the moment. It's going to be replaced by Wayland in the future, which is a much more secure server. But yes, X is still it for now. And it's one reason that Linux desktops are still like inherently insecure. From like a screen recording standpoint.
I don't know. You can take your Wayland and you can take your system D,
right?
And you can go just take
it's
off.
Like, yeah.
Give me my X and my init, my SSB init, and
and your Gen 2. Yeah.
Slackware.
Yeah, the reason I'm not saying anything is because I'm over here having flashbacks. They're not good.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't have a brand name monitor, they didn't actually like tell you your like HSync and VSync and all those numbers. So you just had to like try them. You had to try all of them
and hope that you didn't fry your monitor.
Yeah, see, I remember you all talking about that. That was definitely before because my Linux experience is more recent. I was on it for like 4 years or something. I don't know if it was that long, but I can't just like frying the monitor is like. That's crazy.
And it was because it like, there's no, like if your screen goes away, there's really no way to just like recover from that. At least not that I knew at the time. So you have to essentially like reboot every time. And so like it takes you 5 minutes to try a new config value. And then it just like blanks your monitor really quick. And it makes a really scary noise when it does it. Like a really kind of like almost like something breaking, something really expensive breaking.
Now this is a key combo I do not remember actually accurately, but it might have been Alt F6, but that was or Alt 6. I don't know, but that was the key combo that I discovered while working on X that actually got you to a text console. So Slack had like 5 or 6 virtual consoles.
No. Yeah. That's I use that.
Yeah.
I still use that. when I'm troubleshooting X. It's not as common on like if you use Ubuntu or something, you don't have to do that anymore. But if you use one of the more like DIY Linux distributions, which are fun, you learn a lot, and it's probably a lot more like, old like OG Linux used to be. So
right.
Yes, but yeah, that's all like just basic like Unix or like TTY stuff, right? So you're like switching the terminal.
Yep.
Yeah. That's like, fun.
I was using Ubuntu and I went to like turn on my computer one day because I had some work to do, like you do. And
as one
no graphics.
Sounds like my Monday.
No GUI. Just, and, like a 4K monitor. And so that means like no scaling. So all the text like two like 2 millimeters high, and it's just gobs and gobs of like just like error text. I have no idea what it means. And I give you a guess, Josh, as to what
did you accidentally replace your X resources file or comment out the DPI setting? Because that's what it was for me.
No, I'll give you one more guess because I hadn't made
no
any
changes.
To any configuration. It was working. I hadn't intentionally made any changes to anything.
I don't know. I mean, there's probably a ton of potential reasons, but tell me.
NVIDIA drivers.
Yes.
Yeah. Like this, the computer did some automatic update or something, which meant that my NVIDIA drivers no longer works at all, which meant that like no GUI. And it wouldn't just be like, hey, your NVIDIA drivers need updating, because that would be like for noobs, that would let the riffraff in. So instead, you got to spend all morning trying to figure out how to upgrade your NVIDIA drivers.
Yeah.
Funny you should mention that, because there was a Hacker News thread this week about Ubuntu 20.04, which is their latest long-term release.
Yeah, which I have that on my desktop right now, and in the meantime, while my Mac's out.
And that people are pissed off because of Snap and auto updates and things like that.
I noticed that.
Yeah. We do the security auto updates on our Ubuntu servers, so I didn't think much about it. But now that you're talking about, drivers getting updated overnight and now you can't even see your UI. I'm like, I could see why
that could be tricky. I mean, like I'm generally in favor of auto updating just for security reasons, but it can be kind of tricky, and especially like with that, like specifically like you have to enable third-party repositories or something on Ubuntu to enable those drivers. So if you're not using the stock drivers, then you're probably going to want to turn off that auto updating setting based on what Star's saying.
Yeah, that's
it probably works okay with like all the true, if you're a true like open source person that won't use any proprietary drivers, then I bet it all works pretty well.
Oh, that's right. It was a moral problem.
It's a moral failing, Star. Yes.
I think if you're a true open source user, you're using Slackware, you're compiling all your things from scratch. You're not in packages. I mean, come on, people.
If you were just a good person, then your drivers.
I just want to mention, like, who gave me this NVIDIA card that I'm holding up?
I did give that. I did give
right
that
now.
to you,
Who gave
Star.
me this, Josh? Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for bestowing that that plague upon you for free.
Oh, the other awesome.
It was the really nice
graphics. I'm glad you got some use out of it.
The memories, they're flooding back now. The other awesome thing about Linux circa 1995 was having to know what chip manufacturer of your network card, right? So you can load the right drivers, so you can actually use your Ethernet. For Ethernet.
Yeah, there was no Wi-Fi.
I mean, like Wi-Fi wasn't a thing, right? So like you had to know, I have a Realtek card.
Yeah.
And my no-name knockoff brand happens to use a Realtek.
Yeah, it's still a little bit like that on DIY Linux for like Wi-Fi cards. Like you have to, if you have a certain proprietary one, you have to like install the specific, it's like the, whatever driver / or dash, like your card dash version or something.
And this is why I use a Mac.
Or maybe you have a cheap one, but then you have to know what chipset it's compatible with, or which chipset it's ripping off, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Compatible means
I will say like Fedora and Ubuntu, like and the other like prepack, like they're relatively relatively much better these days. And I've actually been pretty impressed with this little desktop I've set up. It gets the job done, at least. To take it back to Mac though. So do either of you configure your Macs via Ansible?
No. I configure
my Mac with Ansible.
Yeah, that's hardcore.
I also do either of you have store all of your system configuration in a executable shell script that basically has like every Mac OS default in it that's changeable, so you can like commit it to your GitHub? I didn't make that. I forked it from a guy. His name's Matthias. But it's amazing. Like he's like, it's a community maintained like shell script, like set up for your Mac. But yeah, like, so that you know, like when I go and set up a new Mac, like before I would go and I'd have all these, like I like things a lot different from the defaults, and you'd have to like go in and, you know, have a list of things to hit in system preferences to go and configure it the way you like. With this, it like you just, you know, you keep it in Git, so it's you know, it's got history and everything, and you just change the option in the file, and then you run this shell script, and it sets all of the defaults for you. Yeah,
you gotta link me up with that.
I got it right here.
Yeah, it changes a lot of stuff. I used it on my laptop, and I didn't use it on my desktop this time because I don't like some of the settings it has, and I just was not really feeling.
Well, you kind of need to maintain your own.
I've got this new
I forked it.
Yeah, so I've got a new technique for it's for getting set up on computers super fast, which is just to be like the most basic computer
just use the defaults
and don't change any of the defaults.
Also a very valid approach.
And also, you know, store all your photos if you have a Mac user on like Apple Photos, and use Apple Notes and Apple Reminders and Apple Cloud Storage for everything. And it's kind of amazing how like little maintenance that requires.
Yeah. Once you fully buy into the ecosystem thing,
you're saying drink.
It's like sunshine.
Drink the Kool-Aid is what you're saying. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, except the Kool-Aid doesn't kill you.
Yes.
It actually
tastes good.
It tastes good. Yeah, it kind of has a cherry thing. It tastes like
I thought it was like apple flavored
in summer.
Okay.
I thought it was apple flavored.
Well,
Kool-Aid.
what's your favorite Kool-Aid flavor?
Well, I've got peaches on my island, so I'm going to have to go with peach.
Really?
No, I'm joking.
Okay.
That's an Animal Crossing reference for anybody who isn't playing Animal Crossing. I don't know. Like, we bought some Kool-Aid for my kid a couple months ago, and I hadn't had it in so long. I guess just red. I'm a red.
I was going to say red. I don't remember the flavors.
Yeah. I don't know. Just red. Whatever.
Yeah, it's probably a tropical punch. That's like, I think, the most common choice for people with Kool-Aid, because cherry is different, and black cherry even more different. But yeah,
Ben's
okay.
Yeah, you're kind of sore.
Sorry.
that's awesome.
Yeah, don't get him started. He'll go on like
what is the
terroir and all that.
Like grape is.
What
pretty
is the
good,
nuance between cherry and black cherry?
Grape.
Like,
so black cherry definitely a bit on the bitter side. Like it has this
slightly bitter finish.
Before we bought this, I tried to make Ida some drink out of. We've got these really concentrated like flavorings for like cooking, candy making and stuff. And so I tried to make her some strawberry soda out of that, and she was not impressed. I think I didn't put any sort of like acidic element into it. I think it really needs some sort of like sour.
Well, I would think that these days kids' taste buds are a little more refined than ours were, you know, at a comparable age, right? Like if we got cherry, they're like, woohoo, it's not water, right? And they're all like, oh no, it's got to have, you know, this particular hint.
Oh no, she loves Kool-Aid. She's doing like my like DIY life hack, you know, like not Kool-Aid.
Got it. So you get the real stuff.
Yeah. She I don't know. She sure as hell like eats a lot less sugar than I did.
This is the random episode.
Okay, so I'm on a random kick today. Speaking of sugar, okay, so like one of my favorite things to do when I was a kid was I would ride my bike with my friends down to a convenience store. I was like, I don't know, maybe half a mile or a mile away from my house. And they had like a couple of arcade games and, you know, candy and candy and candy, right? Like every kind of candy you could possibly want was in this convenience store. I guess they knew their clientele pretty well. So, we would go down there, we would play a video game, we'd grab some candy, and it was like the thing we did like every day. But the thing that I never understood were people who chose
vaguely, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Or dip 'em sticks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
those are pretty good.
Oh right, yeah. That's what that is.
Well, it's a sugar stick, and you're dipping it in sugar. Like,
what else would you dip it in?
I don't get it. It's like
kind of
no.
But it's kind of like a powdery,
thing, right?
like flavorless sugar stick, and you're dipping it in
like the sugar is like pixie,
sugar.
Isn't it? Yeah. Right. Yeah. Now let's just dump it straight into my mouth. Please.
Right. You're dipping it in stuff like pixie sticks innards.
Like the large you remember like the mass, like the huge one?
Exactly.
They have like a large size of pixie stick, I think. Yeah, I was more of like an ice cream sandwich kind of kid. Yeah.
Now and leaders?
Yeah, now and leaders.
Oh wow. Yeah, I was like I got my sugar daddy, which is like I only
because we're talking about it now.
Why did they name it that? Why did they name it that? It's just a giant like caramel. It's like a giant stick of caramel. And so I got my sugar daddy. I'd like go watch Scrooge McDuck on DuckTales, which is, I guess there's a pattern happening here.
Watching some DuckTales.
So we recently got Disney Plus, and so I was like, hey, it's got DuckTales. I'm going to watch DuckTales.
Really?
And oh man, DuckTales, like it's kind of disappointing me in terms, like it's still entertaining and stuff, but like there's some kind of gross stuff on, like they put in like a fat kid character, he eats everything, and they're like just making fun of him, like, and his name is Doofus. Like,
I remember
like,
Doofus.
come on, DuckTales. That's like, come on.
What was that telling you?
Like a little chunky kid watching DuckTales. So it's like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, what did I learn about? Like, what was this telling me about myself? And like, there's some episodes that are like, I mean, a lot of the episodes are super like really kind of, I don't know if it counts as racism, but like very like 1980s stereotypes of like various like not white cultures, that you would
it's not ain't the 90s
be able to
anymore.
put on TV today. So I don't know. It's
was DuckTales?
No,
DuckTales was
no.
like late 80s.
I mean, that was the 80s even. I think it was like 89. Yep. And also Scrooge McDuck, a little bit of an asshole. Like, I thought, it's like, okay, it's fiction. Like, okay, he got his money through night. He was, he just happened to do some really clever things and get some money. And then there was an episode where somebody defaulted on a debt. So he took ownership of a TV production studio. And then he went in and immediately went into like his nephew's favorite show and was like, I'm shutting this down because ratings are crap.
I hope he doesn't. I hope Scrooge doesn't listen to this podcast.
I know, right? I know. But, and then like the show is actually kind of like making fun of then all the employees who are kind of sucking up to him because they don't want to lose their jobs, right? This guy comes in, he's their new boss. They're trying not to lose their jobs. It's like, oh, look at them. They're so ridiculous and gross because they're trying to suck up to him. It's just like, what? Did Elon Musk like pay for the show to be made for like propaganda purposes? Like what?
I don't know. He really looked up to those characters and when he watched DuckTales.
Yeah. My timelines are a bit mixed. It requires Elon Musk to buy invent a time machine and go back. And
that would be amazing. Modern DuckTales.
Invent DuckTales.
They
have it. They have it. They remade it a couple years ago.
It would be awesome if they made it just like vintage DuckTales, but then they like worked in like you said, like characters from now, like show up in time machines and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
I will say,
that would be funny.
For Darkwing Duck, there's one thing I can still say: he is still the terror that flaps in the night. So some things never change.
Oh, thank goodness! It's good to know there's constants in the world.
We totally need to make that our wrap. Like, what you saying that needs to be the end of this episode.
Oh, I thought you meant like a music rap.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't put that past us either, but the Honey Badger rap.
I put that past myself. I'd put that past myself. Yes. That can be a Josh and Ben duet.
It's got to be Fresh Prince style.
For real.
Well, since we've obviously reached the climax of our...
We've recorded like an hour of this, so...
I know.
Here you go.
To cut
I don't know. I think this is all gold to me. Yeah.
Ship it. We'll ship it. And if anything breaks, we can edit it back out.
Catch it in production.
All right. Well, it's been great talking with y'all. If our loyal listeners would like to review us on Apple Podcasts, go for it. If you want to write for us, check out our blog. We have a write for us thing in the top part of it. If you want to do tutorial type stuff. Yeah. Till then, catch you next week. And this has been FounderQuest.
FounderQuest is a weekly podcast by the founders of Honeybadger. Zero instrumentation, 360-degree coverage of errors, outages, and service degradations for your web apps. If you have a web app, you need it. Available at honeybadger.io. Want more from the founders? Go to founderquestpodcast.com. That's one word. You can access our huge back catalog or sign up for our newsletter to get exclusive VIP content. FounderQuest is available on iTunes, Spotify, and other purveyors of fine podcasts. We'll see you next week.